Have you ever felt like you've just hit a wall in the middle of the semester? You know, that initial excitement is long gone, but the finish line feels like it's a million miles away. If you're feeling totally drained, you are definitely not alone. We're talking about the mid-semester slump, and we're going to break down what it is, why it happens, and most importantly, how you can punch right through it. This quote just nails the feeling, doesn't it? It's that messy, chaotic reality that's hiding behind a super polished academic summary. It is that feeling of being completely and utterly stuck, where every single tiny task feels massive. And, let's be honest, distractions become your best friend to escape the panic. Hitting this wall is a pretty much universal student experience. It's that exact point where your motivation just seems to vanish, and all your momentum grinds to a halt. The most important thing to remember is this is not some kind of personal failure. It's a totally predictable part of the academic journey. Yeah, this is exactly what the slump feels like from the inside. Your to-do list isn't just long anymore, it's genuinely intimidating. And those subjects you were actually passionate about, suddenly they feel like a total chore. This is way more than just a bad day. It's the sustained period where everything just feels so much harder. Okay, so this next part is absolutely critical. We've got to figure out the difference between a slump and actual burnout. Are you just in a temporary dip, or is it something more serious? Because knowing the difference is the first step to finding the right way to fix it. So let's just ask the question directly, and I want you to really think about your own experience as we go through this. Is what you're feeling a temporary dip in your productivity, or is it a deeper, more drawn-out state of exhaustion? All right, here's a really clear side-by-side look. A slump? That's temporary. It's that super common feeling of being overwhelmed and putting things off. But burnout? Well, that's a much deeper state of emotional, mental, and physical exhaustion that's caused by stress just piling up and up. These right here are the red flags for academic burnout. And it's so much more than just feeling tired. We're talking chronic fatigue, getting sick more often than usual, feeling really isolated, and just this deep, nagging sense that you're not effective anymore. If these symptoms are hitting a little too close to home, it might be time to get some extra support. So why does this slump happen so predictably? Let's take a look at the actual science behind it, because it's not just some vague feeling. There's a well-documented pattern here, and honestly, understanding it can be incredibly validating. And what's so fascinating is that this is not just in your head. No way. Researchers have actually documented this whole thing. They found that a mid-course dip in motivation is a predictable, almost universal phenomenon, especially in those really tough courses. And here it is, the big aha moment. Visualized. This chart shows this very distinct V shape. See? Motivation starts high, then takes a huge nosedive right in the middle, and then it starts to climb back up. This isn't just a feeling, it's a scientifically observed pattern. That dip you're feeling? It's normal, it's predictable, and it's right there in the data. And this V shape, it's not just about feeling a little less motivated. Oh no, it's like a cascade effect. The initial newness of the course wears off, right when the pressure from midterms and big projects starts to pile on. This directly hits your intrinsic interest, that genuine curiosity you had on day one. It starts to chip away at your self-efficacy, your belief that you can actually do this. It just makes you feel way less in control. It's basically the perfect storm for feeling stuck. So how do we start to pull out of this nosedive? Well, it begins with something that sounds almost deceptively simple: sleep. The science is crystal clear that one of the most powerful, absolutely non-negotiable tools you have is getting those 7 to 9 hours every single night. And look, if you are ever tempted to trade sleep for more study time, just think about this staggering fact from the CDC. Pulling just one all-nighter can impair your brain as much as having a blood alcohol content of 0.10%. You wouldn't take a final exam after a few drinks, would you? Well, that all-night cram session isn't some badge of honor. It's actively working against you. Okay, we've diagnosed the problem, we've looked at the science, now let's get practical. This is your actionable, step-by-step playbook for breaking out of that slump and getting yourself back on track. First things first, just admit it. You're in a slump, and that's okay. Second, take that huge, scary project and break it down into tiny, manageable steps. That's how you get control back. Third, ask for help. Seriously. Reaching out is a sign of bravery, not weakness. And finally, you have to prioritize self-care. You're not a machine. You need rest, good food, and actual breaks. Now, here's the crucial point. Getting through a slump isn't just about damage control.
It's actually an opportunity. It's about shifting your whole mindset from just surviving the semester to actually thriving because of the challenges you've overcome.
Think about it. Every single time you navigate one of these slumps, you're not just earning a grade. You are building resilience. You're developing real problem-solving skills. And you're learning how to manage your own motivation. These are the skills that are going to serve you for the rest of your life, long after you've forgotten the specifics of that term paper.
And this brings us to this really powerful concept called a growth mindset, which was developed by the Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck. At its core, it's the belief that your intelligence and your abilities aren't fixed things. They can always be developed. This mindset completely transforms challenges from things that threaten you into opportunities to learn and get better.
I mean, how amazing is this? This quote just perfectly illustrates the growth mindset. You've got Michelangelo, one of the greatest masters in all of history, saying this at 87 years old. I am still learning. He never, ever saw himself as a finished product. He knew that the process of learning and growing never, ever stops. So let's just reframe the goal entirely. It is not about being perfect or trying to avoid every mistake. In fact, if you're not making any mistakes, you're probably not challenging yourself enough. The real goal is to embrace challenges, learn from setbacks, and just keep pursuing continual growth.
So I'll leave you with this one last thought. Forget about that mountain of work for just a second. Instead, ask yourself, what is one small, manageable step you can take right now to get back in the game and keep learning today?